Let's kick this off. And I'm guessing some of you clicked this video, wanted to listen to this video to get some clarity, get some answers of a question you may have asked yourself before, or maybe you said, oh, I never thought about this before. So let's get right to it. So the question is, if there is a goal or a dream, something that really means a lot to us, and we want to get to that level, why does it all of a sudden feel hard to get there? Why does it feel like it's almost unreachable to the point where we just essentially give up? Some people have a gift, talent, not some people, we all have gifts and talents and dreams that we want to achieve. Why does it feel like it's only a select few that get there? We watch YouTube videos, we read books, we do research, we read self help books, we attend meetings, or whatever it may be to help us trying to accomplish and exercise and use our talents, our gifts to the maximum so we can all live the life that we want to live. But yet, it feels like only a select few ever get to that. Why? Why is it so hard? And the reason why it's so hard is actually kind of weird at the same time because it's one of those where you realize, what the heck have I been doing this whole time? Like it seems like such a simple solution, but yet it feels like, what the heck? Why don't I just apply this? The main reason why it feels like it's hard to reach that dream of yours or that goal of yours is because we end up doing something we typically do not do on a daily basis. And that's the weird part about it. For example, where there's something we naturally do every single day, and we're so good at it. Like I said, it is natural to us. Like we don't try to focus on breathing, we just breathe. It's so natural to us. But when it now comes to something we really, really want, a desire, all of a sudden we decide to now stop doing this natural thing and try to do the complete opposite. And we wonder why it doesn't work out. It's weird. It's like going underwater and trying to breathe. And we're wondering why it doesn't work. Like, do you know you're human? Or like it's not going to work? Like that's how weird it is. That's how weird we can be sometimes. And it's just this one word here. It's just this one thing we do every single day and we're so good at. And it's this word called steps. STEPS, steps. Life constitutes out of a series of steps. And we're so good at doing these steps in life. Like I said, it's natural to us. And let me explain. What I mean by that is this. If I wanted to make breakfast, right, I have to walk, step one, to the kitchen, open the fridge if the food is in the fridge, step two, bring the food out, step three, open the container, step four. You see, steps. If I wanted to brush my teeth in the morning, let's put it that way, I have to get up from bed, step one, walk to the bathroom, step two, turn on the light switch, step three. You see, every facet of your life is a series of micro, minute, macro steps, whatever it may be, just steps along the way. When was the last time you wanted to brush your teeth? You woke up and the toothbrush was in your mouth with a toothpaste. When does that happen? But yet, here we are. You actually have to do things that leads to the desired outcome. If you want to go grocery shopping, walk to the car, open the door, sit in the car, close the door, start up every single facet of your life constitutes of minute steps along the way. But again, we're so good at it, we don't reach that. So hear me out here. The goal was to brush your teeth. And without even you complicating the matter, you ended up brushing your teeth that day through a series of steps. The goal was to go into your car. You ended up accomplishing that goal without even thinking about it with a series of steps along the way. How did we get so proficient at this? How did we get so good at this? Because every single human being, life itself, every single person on earth operates in a series of steps. It is a natural thing for us. And when we naturally try, or when we try to do the opposite of that, it's hard. It's hard. If I try to breathe underwater, it is hard to do. It is hard to do. If you try to go against the thing you naturally do, it is hard. This is not me being deep. This is not me being like, oh my God, what a crazy. No, it's simple common sense. And you notice, and we all know this. You do something you're not meant to do, it causes a lot of pain, anxiety, stress, and it doesn't go well. Now, for whatever reason, when there's a goal of ours, when there's something we really, really want, whether it's get over a breakup, get into a marriage, get into the right career, start a business, whatever it may be, get into real estate, all these things, whatever it may be, when it's something it's almost the more we want it, the more we do the opposite of what we're naturally good at or naturally supposed to do. When we want something so bad, instead of actually taking steps, we start trying to process how, when, and why it will happen. We start trying to process this different scenarios of if it's even possible, the things I have to do to get it done, all these things. And because of all this mental gymnastics, all this thinking, all this processing, what we end up doing is defeating ourselves before we even take the necessary steps to get there. It becomes stressful. It causes anxiety, sometimes even depression, sadness, doubts. We start doing all this processing and it weighs heavy. It becomes hard to even get to where you want to get to. Again, for example, when I want to brush my teeth, when was the last time anyone here listening, when they wanted to brush it, to try to process how, when this will happen? If the toothbrush is gonna work, if the toothpaste is actually gonna come out, if the toothpaste is actually gonna suds up, if we don't try to process these things. We just go do it. When's the last time you wanted to warm something in the microwave and thought to yourself, how's the electricity in the microwave gonna work? Is the light in the microwave gonna work? If I press this button, how is it gonna work? When is it gonna work? We don't try to, we just go do. And if there's a situation that happens along the way, we deal with it along the way. But we don't sit there trying to figure things out. We just start doing. Your life is always like this. When you want to put on your shoes, you don't try to figure out, if I bend down, would I be able to grab my shoes? What if I'm trying to put the shoes on, but it doesn't go on right? And in fact, I'm putting the shoes on and my shoe explodes. Like, we don't think that way. We just go put it on. This is how you are designed to naturally operate. And you're so good at it that you don't even second guess it. So, why again, when it's something you want really, really bad, you do the opposite of that? We go into processing mode, trying to understand how it will be done. And we wonder why it seems we're not moving in the right direction, or we feel like we're being held back, or things aren't going the way it should go. Duh. When you do what you're not supposed to be doing, or what you're naturally not meant to do, don't be shocked if it doesn't go your way. Now, play the scenario in your mind. What if we simply just do you? And by that I mean, don't do the most. Meaning, the same thing you naturally do, or the same thing that life constitutes of just series of steps without you even thinking about it, you just take the steps. Can you imagine if we simply just apply that to something we want really, really bad? What will happen if we don't try to figure things out and simply just do and deal with it along the way, like we already do anyway? If we simply just apply what we naturally are doing on a daily basis to that same thing we want really, really bad, what will happen? Have you ever thought about that? Actually, try to apply that and see, almost like an experiment, and see if that actually happens. And I want to talk to a few individuals here about this. Now, for those that are saved, I'm going to talk specifically to you in this case. And if you're still listening in, for those that are not saved, I encourage you to listen in because this will benefit you as well. Because when I wasn't saved, if I heard this, I know me, it would have benefited me as well. You have a father that says the same thing about steps, and he says it in his word. He says it, but we've read it. But again, sometimes Christians can be so overly spiritual that something so simple goes over our head, and we don't even realize the simplicity of it. And we don't even realize that he's actually given us the solution to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Read what he says here in Proverbs 16:9. It says, a man's mind plans his way as he journeys through life, but the Lord directs his steps. You hear that? His steps, and establishes them. Why didn't he say, I direct the outcome? Though Jesus can. Why didn't it say, I direct the situation? Though he can. Why didn't he say, I direct the scenario, the circumstances, or the people? Though he can. He specifically says, I direct your steps and I'll establish it. I would direct it. Why steps? This is not rocket science, and this is not even mind blowing what it says. It really isn't. Though it's mind blowing in a way because it comes from Jesus, but the statement itself is not mind blowing. We know this already, or maybe you didn't think deeply about it. But like I said earlier, every single day is just a series of steps in order to reach a desired outcome. So if you're planning your scenario for your life, or the vision for your life, or the things you want to do in this life, it requires a series of steps to get there. That's how life operates. So, in order for Jesus to get you to your destination of where you need to be, he needs to operate by applying or helping you go into certain steps to get the desired outcome. Again, that's how your day in life operates. It's just a series of steps that you're not even thinking about that reaches a desired outcome. Here, he's saying you're planning a desired outcome. You're planning something. And he says, I will now direct these steps to reach that desired outcome. Not complicated, not hard to fathom, but sometimes we can over spiritualize something. We don't even realize the simplicity of what he's saying. Now, Jesus is somebody that knows the future. Jesus is somebody that knows the outcome of things ahead of time before you do. Jesus is somebody that loves you more than you love yourself and more than anyone could possibly love you. And out of his generosity, out of his grace, out of his love for you, he says, I will now direct your steps for you. Think of how of much of a win situation in that you have somebody that loves you more than you love yourself and just so happens to know the future, be the one directing you. If your future self showed up in front of your door right now and told you, hey, by the way, you want this job, right? Or you want to start this business, right? All right, I'm gonna give you the steps to get there. We that future us wouldn't even have to explain anything else afterward. We will simply just say less. Tell me what I need to do, and I'll follow you right now. We will gladly follow. You look like me, you talk like me, you're clearly the older version of me. You're telling me that I want to start this business. In fact, you already know this business has started. So I'm gonna follow whatever you say. Say less. We don't even try to fathom, does the future me still like the old me? Or still love? We don't even care about none of that stuff. None of this sentimental stuff. We don't care about that. We just know, oh, this is the future me, and they want to direct my life at this current stage. Say less, I'm all here for it. But now you have a God that's from the future, been in the future, knows the roadblocks, coming to your front door, saying the same thing. And a lot of times Christians just like, oh my gosh, so nice, thank you, close the door. And like, I go back to the prayer closet or whatever it may be and start praying again to God. Oh God, please open doors for me. Help me to achieve my dreams and goals. I can imagine God looking at the door like, bruh, I mean, I'm telling you I'm gonna direct your steps. I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, I've answered you. You close the door and you're back to praying again. Like, I've answered you. Like, what else do you want me to do? So you see, he's not saying anything groundbreaking. And let me read to you something else again, just to show you and highlight his love for you. And it's this what I'm gonna read to you. He doesn't have to say it because the fact that it's Jesus himself saying, I will direct your steps should be enough. But he loves you so much, he almost wants to hammer it on. So you actually understand what he's trying to tell you and how much specifically he loves you. This is what it says here in Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in and rely confidently on the Lord Jesus with all your hearts, and do not rely on your own insights or understanding. Pay attention to that part. And do not rely on your own insights or understanding. In all your ways, know and acknowledge and recognize Him, and He will make your path straight and smooth, removing obstacles that block your way. Removing obstacles that block your way. Let's go to the first part about not relying on understanding. Some Christians know this scripture. We've heard this before. But again, we get so spiritual that we miss it again. As soon as most people start thinking about their future, about what they need to do, as soon as they start, the very first thing is they try to understand every aspect of it. The very thing that Jesus just says, do not try to even understand or rely on your own understanding or your own insight, is the one thing we instantly start doing right off the bat. If you're an unbeliever, this applies to you as well. Here is somebody Jesus saying to believers and unbelievers alike, don't try to lean on your own understanding and your own insight. Don't do that. We end up doing that. And you see again how difficult it is to even take the first step or the journey in to your goals, into your dreams, into your vision. It becomes hard to do. And again, we wonder why. Jesus himself again is telling you don't do that, and we still do it. Whether you're unbeliever or not, it still applies. Then, since he knows the future, and in fact, he is from the future, he tells you, I'm ordering your steps because I know how to remove the obstacles along your way. This is not complicated, folks. If you're an unbeliever, how can you understand and know what steps or the right and appropriate steps to take in order to achieve your dreams if you don't know the future? It's simple. If you don't know the future, you're always guessing. It's always through trial and error. I try this, I try that, and try this. It's almost like you're constantly chipping along the way, chipping, chipping, chipping. So the path seems hard. And yes, some break through and some make it, and most don't. But the overall theme is that it feels hard because you don't know the future. So, yes, it's going to be hard. It's always through trial and error. But if you're a believer, we have the luxury of not needing to know the future. Specifically says, don't even try to lean on your own understanding. I know the future. In this case, Jesus, he knows the future. So he removed the obstacles. This is why him ordering your steps is the best thing you can possibly have in your corner. The best thing. And for those that even still try to understand, and the funny thing about this is this, even when you know what steps to take, and this is for the believers, some of us know already what I should do in order to get to where I need to get to. We kind of have an idea already what I should do. And those that are not unbelievers, you already have that common sense that tells you this is what I should be doing to get to where I need to get to. But if you've noticed, even in the process of knowing, okay, this is what I should do to get to what I need to get to, even in that process, along the way, we end up going back to square one, meaning we end up trying to figure things out again. We may walk along the steps or the path for maybe a day or two, a week or two, but at some point, we get into this mindset again of trying to understand and try to figure out when and how it's going to happen. And it's almost like we're back to square one again. And now we start processing all these things and it becomes heavy. Then we don't last. We just kind of give up. Like, "Oh, I kind of tried it and maybe it wasn't meant for you." It was for you. It is your gift. It is your calling. But you keep doing opposite of the things you naturally do every day. Look what Jesus again, just to show how real he is. This is what Jesus again says for those people that do this. He says this. This is in Proverbs 20:24. The Lord Jesus directs, here we go, the same word again, directs our steps. So why try to understand everything along the way? So we're saying when you know what you're supposed to do, stop trying to understand and figure it out. This is not groundbreaking what he's saying here because you already do this. When you wanted to brush your teeth, you did not try to understand things along the way. When you try to drive your car to the grocery store, you did not try to understand things along the way. Yeah, when you try to tie your shoes, you did not try to understand things along the way. When you turn on the TV, you did not try to understand things along the way. When you want to reach a certain goal, you want to not understand things along the way. Bruh, what? Why are you fighting yourself? Stop doing the most. For those that are believers, it is so simple, your life, how it should be. You have somebody that loves you so much. He's taken it upon himself to direct your steps. And he gives you a warning ahead of time. Hey, don't do what you've done in the past of trying to understand things along the way. Focus on this one thing you're supposed to do. Now, how does this play out practically? If you wanted to, let's say, get over a breakup, right? And that's one of your goals to get over this breakup. The typical process of trying to break up is sometimes, should I block them? Should I not block them? Oh gosh, I'm remembering the things, all the awesome moments we had together, the good times we had together. Let me see what they're doing on social media. Do they remember me? But I gotta get over this person. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna be on social media all day. I'm gonna stay away from social media all day. Temptation comes. You try to get on social media. And let's say you go through the whole day without getting on social media. You feel great. But as you're going to bed, you're still thinking about this person, about the good times. Then the next day comes. Then what happens is you might feel like, let me just go on social media. Then you just so happen to see them on social media and all these emotions come flooding in. Then you feel like, oh my gosh, God, help me to get with this person. I just want to get with this person. Blah, blah, this and this. That's typically how it goes. Now, if you simply just do what you're naturally supposed to do, what you're naturally created to do, what you naturally do in every single day, this is how it plays out. As a believer, from a believer's point of view, this is how it play out. So your father tells you this: when you seek the kingdom of God above all else, everything else will be added to you. Meaning, when you seek Him, when you're spending time with Him, everything else that you need, in this case, you need to get over this breakup, is added to you. Everything is I need. So if you seek me first, I will give you the ability, strength, and desire to get over this. And this is not Him trying to just say, oh, just follow me and that's only when I'm going to help you. Not necessarily that, but yes, you should follow him so he can help you. But he wants you to seek him because true strength comes from him. So that's besides the point. So this is how it typically play out. You wake up the next day. He speaks into your heart, the inner voice, or simple common sense. You know what? I'm gonna spend time with him. So I'm just gonna read John or read Corinthians, whatever. I'm just gonna read. You're still missing this person. You're still saddened by this breakup. You still want them back. Those emotions haven't gone anywhere. But the difference is you are focusing or you are saying, you know what? Regardless of what I do, whether I go on Facebook, whether I stay off of social media, where I block them, regardless of that, I'm not gonna try to figure out when I will get over this person, how it's gonna happen, if it's going to happen. I'm just gonna do the one step that I'm supposed to do for today. The one step. I am not going to try to lean on my own understanding, my own insights. I am not going to figure things along the way. Not because it's hard to not do those things, but I do those things all I do it anyway. I don't try to figure things out along the way. I don't try to lean on my own insight or understanding when I'm warming the food in the microwave, when I'm going grocery shopping, tying my shoes, making. I don't do that. So I'm not going to start doing that now. So you know what? I'm just going to read the word today. The emotions are still there. The sadness isn't gone anywhere. But I'm just going to read the word. You read a few chapters or you read a few verses, you close the book, you go sit down, you watch TV, you miss them, you think about them. Maybe a thought comes into your mind about when it's gonna happen, but you say, no, I focus on what I need to do today, and that's it. Cry it out if you need to. Shed some tears if you need to. Call someone to talk to if you need to. The next day comes. Well, I know my step for today is to seek him above all else. So I'm gonna do it again today. That's all I'm gonna focus on. Now, when I'm gonna get over this breakup, how it's gonna happen, that's what I'm gonna do today. Read again. And I guarantee you, as you follow each step, as you finish step one, step two, step three, you're going to notice and realize and see that he's going to speak into your heart of new steps to take along the way. When you get to the point where he speaks into your heart to get off of social media or possibly even block them, when you reach that level, it is easy to do. Imagine trying to reach level 10 from level 1. Imagine trying to, let's say level 10 was driving a car in the highway. You're 16 years old. Imagine trying to first get your driver's license for the first time and try to all of a sudden be an expert in driving in the highway. That is hard to even fathom or think about. It causes fear to even think about, oh my gosh, I'm going to be driving the highway specifically closer to to a inner city where it's crazy and crowded. It's hard. But you see, along the path, when you kept driving daily, there was a certain point that you reached that when you finally thought about driving in the highway, it didn't seem so daunting anymore. It is easier to fathom how to do or perform on level 10 when you're on level 8. It is much harder to figure out how to perform on a level 10 when you're just on level 1. But as you move closer, in this case, getting over this breakup as level 10, from level 1, it's kind of hard to fathom. But what we do is we try to fathom it and we try to think we can get to level 10. But bruh, you're not even past level 1 yet. What are you doing? But as you take these steps every single day, you will now realize level 8 calls for you to block them. But then you're on level 8, you do it, you're like, oh, I don't feel bad anymore. But you try to block them on level 1 and you saw the anxiety it caused you. But as you follow these steps, you realize when you're meant to do certain things at certain steps, it's easy to do. And level 10, you finally reached it and you're over them. And you're like, wow, when did I get here? Wow, when did I become an expert in driving the highway? I can't even remember when or specifically how. I just know I was driving. And one day I decided to go on the highway. Felt a little nervous a little bit, but it was easier than I thought it would be. Wow, when I blocked them, I thought I felt a little anxious a little bit, but dang, it was easier than I thought it would be. Then you look back and think, wow, it was just a series of steps along the way. Let's say you want to start your own business. He speaks into your heart and says, look, understand how a business works. Take this class. Of course, you try to figure out if this class will work, how am I going to pay for it, this and this, am I going to meet the right people, blah, blah, blah. You try to figure out level 10 and you're just on level 1, causes anxiety. You do it the way you should be doing, which is step by step. He orders your steps. So he tells you, just do step 1. I am not giving you step 2, 3, 4, or 5 until you finish step 1. And the first step, he simply says, take this business course or read this book about business. The only thing then is not to figure out when you're going to get done reading the book, when you're going to get done with the class, if it's going to work, if it's not going to work, How is it going to pertain to your future? If it's not going to pertain to your future, your only job is to simply read that book. When you're finished with that book, that's when you know you're done with step one. And now he speaks into your heart for step two, or you get an idea. You now apply step two. And you do step two until you're completely finished with step two. You see, you're constantly just doing one thing at a time till you reach the desired outcome, which is exactly what you already do on a daily basis. Nothing different. You're now simply applying what you naturally do to a goal or vision of yours. But if you have Jesus on your side, he removes the roadblocks, he gives you the perfect steps, he helps you during those steps. And if you feel like you're taking the wrong step, Romans 8:28 says, he will make sure all things end together for your good. Those that are called according to his purpose. So again, to the kids of God, even when you think you might be taking the wrong step, he will orchestrate your steps to match and align to the vision that you have. So everything still works out good for you. Now, if you're not a child of God, it's more again, like I said, it's like a Russian roulette, it's trial and error. But you can still apply these principles, meaning when you think you know what you should be doing for step one, focus on that. Don't try to figure things out. Focus on that alone. Focus on that alone and see where it goes. When you're done with that, focus on step two. Focus on step three. Those that are God's kids have the benefit of getting the perfect steps. So we're not playing Russian roulette. And somebody that will make sure that the obstacles are removed is somebody that will make sure that things ends good in our favor at all times. So we get a different luxury on that aspect. But I hope you guys understand, and everyone listening, men and women listening, believers and unbelievers alike, that when you know what you should be doing, do not try to figure anything else out. Do that one thing you should be doing, complete it, then do the next thing you should be doing. Complete that, then do the next thing. That's how easy life is. And that's how easy it is to achieve the vision you have for yourself. Because the very principle and the very basic level of reaching that dream of yours, you already naturally do. Stop fighting yourself. And for the believers out there, really stop fighting yourself. Stop doing the most. You have someone in your corner that understands this process of called life and simply says, every day is a series of steps that reaches a desired outcome. You want a desired outcome, so I will order your steps for you. No one else can do that better than Jesus can because he loves you and he knows the future and he's all powerful. So he's spoken into your heart or said something to your heart. That is all you should focus on. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. Just do that. Finish that before going to the next thing. You're not going to conquer level 10 when you're on level 1. You've been fighting so hard to conquer level 10, and level 10 is that dream you're trying to get, but you're still on level 1. It is hard to do. Hence the reason why you are where you are, and it feels like you're not going to get to where you need to be. And a lot of times, through my experience, some of the steps he asks you to do, speaking to the believers here, is it may not even feel or seem like it has anything to do with what your outcome is. That's just the interesting thing about life. Some of the steps will feel like it has nothing to do with the desired outcome. I've told people this that I'm close in the past that the process of me getting to a Bible group or study Bible study group, and even meeting my wife. That process all started the day I asked for a math book. The day that I asked for a math book was the first step that led me to the right ministry, right friends, and to my wife. Did not even realize it. Looking back, I now know. But when the Holy Spirit spoke into my heart to ask for a math book, how the heck would I fathom that this will actually lead me to the right people, right ministry, right wife, and even to the right job? How? How did I fathom that? But that step of me asking for a book led me to the right friend, which had connections to the right ministry, which helped me become the president of that ministry, which helped me become president or one of the leaders of another ministry that ended up becoming a ministry where my future wife will attend. Ended up meeting her, marrying her. And see, but all that from just taking one step. That's it. That's how simple it is to get to the level where you need to get to. Stop fighting you. Stop trying to figure it out. Focus on the one thing you should do and do not focus on anything else. Go step by step. And I guarantee, because Jesus loves you, you will reach the desired outcome. You already do this on a daily basis very well, and you don't even realize it. And if you're an unbeliever and you don't know this and can't comprehend this, it's okay. Just use common sense and chip away. But my prayer for you is that you will come today to realize how much you're loved by Jesus and how simple or how simpler life is when you're in a relationship with Him. Hopefully, you enjoy listening to me ramble on and maybe you liked it as well. But definitely stay tuned for more content and peace.